Welcome and a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your participation in our webinar today. The theme of our webinar is education, and the topic that we are going to talk about today is a very interesting topic, which is the importance of education to the younger generation. I am Grace, your moderator for today, and with me are the four panelists. The first one is Miss Alia, which is a student from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris. The second one is Miss Nayli, a teacher from Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan, Tanjung Malim. The third panelist is Miss Mira, a lecturer from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris. And the fourth panelist is Madam Vivi, which is the president of Parent and Teacher Association of Perak Girls School. Ladies and gentlemen, in the educational system for younger generation in Malaysia, there is a very best investment of our educational system for younger generation by the government in ensuring that every younger generation in Malaysia would receive a proper education background. One of the biggest achievements of our government is by providing a free educational system for government school, starting from preschool until up to secondary school. Since poverty and economical issue is the biggest concern regarding on the educational system for younger generation, it is a very great achievement of our government. So without wasting any more time, I would like to invite the first panelist, which is Miss Alia, to give her opinion on the importance of education to the younger generation.
Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. I wish to all of you. Thank you for having me on this morning. I'm so glad to be here. I am Nuraliah Sabarina Binti Muhamad Nadzrin as a student from UPSI. Alright, without wasting our time, I would like to continue to our main topic on today, which is the importance of education to the younger generation. In my opinion, I do believe that the importance of education to the younger generation is to developing interests, hobbies, and to future career them. All right. Why do I say like that? This is because nowadays in Malaysia, to ensure that you will get a better future, you must have a best result in our exam, especially in SPM results. As we know that SPM result will determine our future, whether to continue the studies or want to apply a job. So before we're going to take the SPM paper, usually we will join the classes to make a preparation so that we will answer and will sit for the SPM paper very well. So during the classes, your teacher will give you all the knowledge that you never learned before this and some of tips or skills that you never know before this. For example, the tips that you will learn from the classes is such as tips how to talk with the people briefly, and then tips how to find your learning material by using the new technology mode, and also the skills how to be a responsible and brave people. All right. For the example, if the students use the technology to find out their learning material, they will survive and see there is a lot of learning material that are very amazing, such as a colorful notes and a note with a graphic and a cartoon that will interact their attention to learn more and more. So if they pay attention and keep going on frequently, I do agree that they will love with the education and it will be as their hobbies. Additionally, education is important to everyone, especially for those who have finished up their secondary school. Why do I say like that? Because after we finish up our secondary school, usually we will face an interview whether for continue the studies or want to apply a job. All right. So, if we have an enough education and knowledge, I'm surely that we will perform and face the interview very well and nice. So, for me, as my experience before this, usually the panel or the examiners will refer the first thing during the interview, which is they will refer your educational background. Why do they refer this thing? Because I'm surely that they want to get workers or students the very high education to ensure that will up their image and their name among the best in the country. So as the conclusion, I hopefully the young generation make a best preparation to ensure that their future is better as what as they plan. So thank you. Back to the moderator.
It is indeed a very interesting opinion from the perspective of a student, which is the education is important to the younger generation because it helps them to develop their interests, their career, their future career, their hobbies, and their talents. Next, I would like to invite Miss Nayli to give her opinion from the perspective of a high school teacher.
Okay, thank you, moderator. My topic in this morning is importance of education to younger generation to improve their standard of life. Okay, before I start my speech, I would like to tell you about our younger generation. If we notice, today's young generation is less concerned about their education and less knowledge, but they just only know to get a good position in a company or workplace. But for me, I am considered that education is important to improve our standard of life, especially for the younger generation, for their better life. So that they can face a standard of living that will always increase for a long journey after this. Then getting an education is perhaps one of the most important ways to improve the standard of living. More educated people are more likely to get jobs that pay well and offer health or retirement benefits. In many societies throughout the world, a high school education is bare minimum requirement for securing decent employment. A person with a college degree is likely to earn more, thereby allowing that person to afford more amenities for comfort or enjoyment. Leisure time is, of course, an important element of one's standard of living, and more educated people tend to have more leisure time as well as more resources with which to enjoy it. Okay, so education is very related to our life. All the things we can do now are from the education that we get and we learn from our childhood to adulthood. Without education, we will not know how to do various jobs. Okay, in my conclusion, today's work is very concerned about education. I hope the younger, I hope the young generation can prioritize education so that they can live happily and comfortably in the future. Okay, we go to the moderator.
It is a very clear insight from our second panelist. So, how about our third panelist, Mira? As a lecturer, what is your opinion or insights regarding on our topic today?
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the moderator, Miss Grace, for inviting me today. Okay, we have just heard of the opinion from a student and from a teacher. I think as a lecturer, education is our best investment for earning money. Before I talk further, I will explain the relationship between the investment and education. Okay, let's see. Investment is a method that produce education in the hope that it will provide profit in the future. While education is about the process of teaching and learning skills for the whole life. So it can be seen here that the relevance between investment and education. If there is no education, maybe we don't have something we can provide for our future. At least with education, we are able to work well. As a result from our work, we able to generate our finance to be better. However, I do not demean those who are uneducated or those who are unable to get education for some reason. For example, those who are unable to get the education due to financial problem or had another problem. No, it's not like that I mean. I want many younger generation to open their eyes more about the importance of education. So with this, they will be able to enjoy a better life in the future. It is clear here that with education, it can be an investment to generate a good finance. However, there are also who, those who have an education but are not accepted to work in companies. This does not mean their education that they have is not good, but they can continue to try something even greater with their education and qualification. Nowadays, many of the younger generation are experiencing financial problem. Then they decide not to study in the hope that they will be able to get a good job. However, this kind of thinking is wrong. The real world now wants its employer to have an education. So, I hope that the younger generation does not neglect their education because the education is very important. That's all from me. I will give back this talk to moderator Miss Grace. Thank you.
Education is the best investment for earning money, as being said by Miss Mira just now. I could not agree more on that insight because this is definitely true and unarguable. But last but not least, I would like to invite our fourth panelist, which is Madam Vivi, to state her opinion from the perspective of a parent.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Thank you for inviting me to the webinar. As a parent, we are really concerned about our children's future, and we try to help them to create a better way to get a successful life. Therefore, education is important, and parents should know about it. This is because education paves the way to have a good career to the younger generation. They can have plenty of chance to work at any workplace they wish. It enhances opportunities for a better and easier employment. The highly educated they are, the better life change they get. Moreover, education polish our mind, reinforce our thoughts, and strengthen our characters and behaviors towards the others. It also can equips the younger generations with informations and various fields in any general and in their specialization in particular, especially what they need to know about their jobs to make sure they're master in their jobs. Therefore, without education, they may not survive properly or have any proper better profession. Besides that, education grants a good status in society. As educated people, the younger generation considered as a valuable source of knowledge for the society. Having education helps them to teach others necessary moral, good manners, and wise ethics. For this reason, people deal with us in a considerable and special way for being proactive and resourceful. In addition, education makes the younger generation a role model in society when the people need them to guide them to the right ways and right decisions. Thus, it is an honor for the younger generation to serve the community and contribute towards the advancement of progress. Being educated is an advantage to help the people to build a good society. That's all for me. Back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vivi. I indeed agree with all the opinion that had been stated by all of the panelists. And now we are going to move to the Q&A session. Any of the audiences who have question, you can just type it in the chat room. Okay, so I will invite the panelists to answer this first question, which is how will you advise the young generation to focus on their education?
Okay, I will give my opinion. The question is how to give sorry how how will we give advice to the young generation to focus in their education. All right, in my opinion, I think the ways to advise young generation to focus their education is by talk to them nicely, because as we know that in the around age of the young generation, they might be listen to our advice. So and sometimes they will cannot accept it smoothly, right? So as the adult, I think we should know how to attract their attention. For example, we might give them a present as a way to attract them to slowly love about their education, so that they will know if, for example, if the parents know, or if I give my child the present, so I think my child will do the best in the future. So I think one way is give the present to the child as a sign that we appreciate the effort of their child. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you to Miss Alia. Next, we will wait for another question. Okay, so the next question are, what are the challenges that the young generation face during COVID-19? Any of the panelists can answer this.
May I answer the second question?
Yes.
Okay, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we know that overall the process of studying is different, which is before the pandemic, students are learning in the school, in the class with the teachers, and during the pandemic, all of the learning activity contribute to the online classes. This the difference during the pandemic or during the pandemic and before the pandemic. And some students also may face the difficulties if there is no connection in their village or and where they live.
Thank you, Madam Vivi. Now we will move on to the. I hope that will answer the question, and we will move on to the last question, which is what to do if young generation don't want to further their study.
Okay, I will give my opinion. The question is what to do if young generation don't want to further their studies. I think that we cannot push them to do something that they want because everyone has their own skills, which means maybe if their maybe with the young generation want to further their studies, maybe they can use their skills to get something better. So their life is going to be great with their own what they want. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Miss Mira. Okay, thus we had already reached the end of our session today. I hope through this webinar we all can benefit through the insight and opinions that was given by the panelists. Thank you for all the audiences for joining this webinar, and thank you for the panelists who were willing to spend time to join this webinar today. There's no big appreciation that we could give other than thank you and goodbye. Have a nice day and stay safe.